Hi you guys, today we're going to be talking about Tiffany Henyard once again, and for those of you who don't know yet, Tiffany Henyard is the mayor of Dolton, Illinois, and she also serves as supervisor in Thornton Township. Now, I've been covering Tiffany Henyard for a little while now, but the attention and chaos surrounding her always seems to get a little bit worse every week. So this got me thinking, how could one person cause so much chaos and get so many people upset enough that they would take time out of their lives to go stand in line for hours to get into these board meetings and basically roast her at every chance they get? So with that, I began to not only look a little bit closer at Tiffany Henyard and the way she maneuvers, but I started to really pay attention to the times she chooses to talk versus when she chooses not to talk. Okay? And I found that in those times that she chooses to stay quiet and in control says a lot about who she really is. Because you see, I believe Tiffany Henyard is a sociopath. Now, I'm just going to say this for YouTube's sake, okay? And others. I'm not a psychologist or a professional in mental health, and I am not diagnosing anyone with any kind of personality disorder. But I am an American citizen, doggone it, and I'm going to speak my mind and give my opinion on the type of person I feel Tiffany Henyard is. That being said, let's get started. So, as I just mentioned, I feel like Tiffany Henyard is a sociopath. So with a quick Google search, I found this definition for what a sociopath is. A sociopath is a person with a personality disorder manifesting itself in extreme antisocial attitudes and behavior and a lack of conscience. Sociopaths can't tolerate stability and they sabotage it whenever they can. They thrive on chaos and danger and on living life at the edge of a cliff. So first I want to say we've already talked a little bit about Tiffany Henyard checking all the boxes that would describe her as a textbook narcissist. So some common narcissistic behaviors that Tiffany shows on a regular basis are lack of empathy, sense of entitlement, arrogant thinking and behavior, grandiosity, okay, which is an unrealistic sense of superiority in which someone believes themselves to be unique and better than others. The key word in that is unrealistic, okay? Unrealistic sense of superiority. They have a constant need for praise and attention. They tend to exaggerate their accomplishments, react negatively to criticism, take advantage of others, blame others, which is a big one. We see Tiffany do a lot, of course, blaming the trustees, okay, blaming some of the residents for not doing their research, and demeaning or bullying other people, which we actually saw in Thornton's latest budget meeting where she talked to one of her supporters, someone who's on her team. Very disrespectfully, you guys. Let me just play that clip real fast in case you didn't see that video.
Robert, this is our board meeting. You can have a seat. Okay, stop so he can make his comment. Make your comment, Robert, and go sit down.
So yeah, that guy right there, his name is Robert Hunt, and he is on Tiffany's team, okay? He's there, he supports her, he supported her from day one. He was on the board of trustees in Dolton when she was a trustee as well, and he's always seemed to really have her back. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with them two, but they have their power dynamic and their type of relationship is kind of like, a little suspect. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't say much because I don't know. You know, I think I saw a ring on his finger, so he might be married, which it makes me think even more like, what does his wife think? Does she treat him like that too? Is that what he's attracted to? Who knows? Those are speculations, you guys. I'm starting to just, go off on my own thing here. We're talking about Tiffany Henyard, okay? As it relates to, like she would say, her being a sociopath. Now, let's talk about some sociopathy traits that Tiffany regularly exhibits. A sense of entitlement, manipulation, lack of empathy for others, attempting to control others with threats or aggression, which she can use, the police department for, which she's done before in the past, allegedly, not learning from mistakes or punishments, which in her case, she never admits to any mistakes or wrongdoings. So it's almost impossible to learn from those mistakes, right? Lying for personal gain. So the lying for personal gain is basically the underlying cause of all this controversy, right? On the one hand, you have Tiffany saying, oh, you guys get what you need and you get it sent to you on time. On the other hand, you have the trustees and the residents saying, the residents are asking questions. Their questions are never getting answered. And the trustees are saying, hey, you don't send us the information in time for us to vote on these things. And they're still wanting clarity on certain things before they vote on them. And rightfully they should, because they are the trustees. They are entrusted with the spending of the taxpayer dollars. That's what it comes down to. And the controversy that's being surrounded so much with Tiffany Henyard is that she is not being transparent and she's not being forthcoming about the village's true financial state. All right, so let's get back to some of the reasons why I feel Tiffany Henyard could be a sociopath. So this first clip I'm going to show you is of Tiffany Henyard telling some of the Dolton trustees that they needed to pay for a hotel themselves after attending a training. Let's go ahead and look at it.
I've been on the board for 8 years as a trustee. We never pay for IML stays because it was strictly right up the street. Now, if I want to pay for a hotel, we get an expense account. Our expense account, and I'll put that in the email as well, equal to about $5,000 that each trustee has received as of today in the expense account. And you guys should have been able to cover a $200 hotel room or whatever it costs or whatever hotel you want to stay at.
So you guys, if you're really listening to what she's saying, she's saying as a trustee, the mayor made them pay for their hotel stays if it's going to be kind of up the street 15 minutes away. But what she's also saying is that I put this in your expense accounts. I sent an email and as of today. Like, really? So you didn't do it beforehand? So now we're going to hear trustee Brittany Norwood explain how she felt about the mayor's little maneuver as it pertains to, their hotel stay.
Okay, real quick, Mayor. So just so I can respond, I just feel as a board member, it's malicious. It was a malicious act of yours. Anytime we speak to different elected officials that are also living in the Southland area, and they fully stated, hey, yeah, our mayor didn't have a problem. Yeah, of course, our village paid for it. And they stayed in the surrounding areas also. So I just want to say that I think that was malicious. It was in the budget. Our finance guy, Trustee House, actually informed you that it was in the budget. And he actually informed you that even with the room stays, we still have money in the budget for another training.
So yeah, as you can hear her say, they had enough money. It was in the budget. There are other people from neighboring, villages that attended it as well. And their mayor didn't have a problem with them staying in the hotels. So let's hear it from another trustee Ed Steves, who kind of explains a little bit more into how this went down.
I understand the hotel rooms. I didn't, but this was booked in advance. It was booked months ago. But it happened, the cutoff of it happened 2 days before we got down there. So that's where I think Trustee Norwood is saying that it was booked. If that was the mindset, that should have never, the hotel room should have never been booked by a village administrator. It should have never been booked. It should have just been paid for the training. But the training plus the hotels were booked. And then after the last board meeting, 2 days before it, I'm taking a credit card in the name of budget. No, if it was concerned about the budget, the hotels should have never been booked.
So hearing it from him, it sounds like, the hotels were booked in advance. Everybody seemed to be on the same page. The trustees were under the impression that the hotel rooms were getting paid for in the budget. And then all of a sudden, a couple of days before it seems like the mayor cut it off. So that was really shysty. But let's hear her explain, her side of it.
So for the record, I didn't know anything about the hotels being booked until when I found out about it. So when I found out about it, I told them there's no way that we're going to use taxpayer dollars to pay for your hotel in the city of Chicago.
So there you have it, you guys. Just total no accountability. Okay, she's saying she didn't know about it until a couple of days before. Okay, so if you didn't find out about it till a couple of days before, why didn't you go and talk to the trustees first of all, instead of just doing it? You know, you knew that was going to cause issues. They were already expecting something that was planned, but you went ahead, turned it around, flipped it around, made your own rule and decision to cut off their hotel stay as far as it being paid into the budget. So with them telling her how that made them feel, do you think she cares? No, because as a sociopath, she lacks empathy for others. She lacks the ability to feel empathy for others. So let's go ahead and move on to the next example why I feel Tiffany Henyard could be a sociopath. This next example I'm going to show you, we're going to go to a Thornton Township budget meeting. In fact, their recent budget meeting where Tiffany serves as a supervisor. Let's go ahead and watch this clip first, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about it.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you guys for coming out this evening. I am Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, the People Supervisor. I want to thank you for coming out to hear from the department heads, the finance department as relates to the budget. But unfortunately, we will have to postpone our meeting until Friday at 1 p.m. due to the fact of lack of quorum.
So we just heard Tiffany announce to the residents that the meeting is canceled due to lack of quorum, or like she said, quorum, however she pronounced it. I don't know. But she meant to say quorum. But what really happened is that Tiffany Henyard strolled into the budget meeting where the residents had already been waiting for almost an hour, only to tell them that it was canceled. Then we see her just stand there with her hand on her hip with a very smug and satisfied look on her face. You see, that satisfied look on her face, it's her sociopathy shining through. Because sociopaths love chaos and can't tolerate stability, so they sabotage it whenever they can. They thrive on chaos and danger, like I said before. When we look at this situation right here, while most people who are experiencing this situation and who experience chaos as an unpleasant experience, sociopaths can pull energy from chaos, which can reduce their stress and anxiety. Isn't that something? So while dealing with chaos might affect most people negatively, if you have traits of being a sociopath, it basically has the opposite effect on you. So that's a reason I feel Tiffany Henyard manages to stay so calm all the time, even in the midst of so many people going against her, yelling at her, and sometimes calling her out her name. While most people would shy away and not want to be called out on their wrongdoing by so many different people, Tiffany Henyard's sociopathy allows her to experience these chaotic events as somewhat of a meditation session, where she leaves feeling calmer, de-stressed, and even rejuvenated, as if she had just spent 3 hours at a spa instead of 3 hours at a board meeting with residents yelling at her one after the other. So you guys, there are so many other clips I could show you today, and I could go on and on, but I'm going to reserve those for another video. I don't want this one to get too long on you guys, but let me know how you feel down in the comments. Do you feel Tiffany Henyard earns the title of sociopath? Like I said, I am not a psychologist, okay? These are just my opinions. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, and if you're new here, subscribe. I'll see you next time.